his swimsuit, and then my booty just pouring out of it. Oh, you got this on camera. Awesome.
I'm confused. I thought we were getting the larger pontoon boat. Is that one not available?
Hey, Oinker. Just call in the pilot and drive our asses back over.
This seems small.
Would you say that a little loud? I didn't quite...
Well, we have to pile all of our shit in, drive over, and then take all of our shit out.
No, why don't they just go back over and get Nick?
His swimsuit, and then my booty just pouring out of it. Oh, you got this on camera. Awesome.
Well, I was even like,
That's why women
had mentioned that
rule the world.
it's always really super full of all of her crap too.
She's got it.
And did you tell me that we had one folder? So move the big, because now it's that.
Turn off the camera, paparazzi.
I see that the shade, or the sun, whichever you prefer, glass half empty or half full. By now, 3:45, a month ago, the shade was already here. And I just realized it's not now because the sun is farther south, because it's not going as far north. Interestingly, a couple nights ago I looked out the west window of the house. The sun was right in here, and it was about this low. First time in all summer that I've looked at it, because normally a month ago it was setting way out of sight. He's making up for lost time in jail. I've always referred to this person as he. Maybe it's a woman. Okay, I've been watching this tree and you can't really see it, but I'm going to zoom in. It's right through here. A very strange looking top anyway. I've only ever seen the top, but clumps of Of what? I've never seen a tree that looks like that. And I keep, every time I see it, I think, I gotta walk down there. Well, this time of year, getting through there is no way. No. So it'll remain a mystery for now, while I get about the task, which I guess I've been avoiding. It is very still today, quiet. There's no air moving. It's 69 degrees. I'm loving it. I've been splitting wood, cutting chunks for splitting. Cut up the last piece of the last tree I brought down and brought in. And went out looking again this afternoon, confirming some of the trees. And I found one tree that I had thought, oh, there's a nice piece of cake. It's a birch tree that's leaning about that much. And it's got a popple tree leaning against it from another angle. Kind of leaning against it, but not quite. But I did walk in to get a closer look at it from a different angle. And it's a good thing I did, because that popple tree is leaning against it. And that's why the birch tree has a lean to it, because the popple tree is, whatever the angles are, is pushing on it. And there's also a branch higher up that's wrapped into and around sort of the popple tree. That is a setup for death. Called a widowmaker. Widowmakers come in all shapes and configurations, so it's not a specific. Well, I think it started out as a very specific situation. But now any tree that is trouble, it's a widowmaker, and stay away from it. Let nature take it down in its own course when it won't hurt anybody. So I ruled that one out, but I've pinpointed the next ones I got to take. 3. And one of them I'm not going to take after all, because it's up on Summit Ridge Trail, or near that trail, and it's leaning into a really nice open. There's nothing obstructing it when it falls. Beautiful. It'll fall near the game trail going up to Summit Ridge Trail. I thought I should go out onto the game trail and walk down it and see where exactly that tree is from the game trail. Oh. See, the reason I was going to take it was because it's going to fall into underbrush, saplings, 8-10 feet tall. I don't want to have to go in there and limit and section it. But I was going to pull it out, snake it out with the winch. Well, it turns out the top of it is going to fall 30 feet from the game trail, so that is a disappointment. And every tree I look at practically is ruling itself out, either in favor of never, just leave it alone forever, or wait until the underbrush clears of leaves. So all the leaves are down, you can get through a whole lot easier. But by then, we're into end of October. And I really don't need the wood until probably February. I've got enough wood, I think, kind of, to get me into February, which gives it a good amount of seasoning time. It's the first year I've had to gather all of my firewood from the property myself. I don't have Chuck, brother-in-law, bringing me trees that he's cut down at his place. He and his brother were bringing them over by the trailer load, unloading them and stacking them around. And that was wonderful, and I didn't understand or appreciate how much that was saving me from all of that. All I had to do was section it up and split it and stack it. I didn't have to scout it out, fell it, limb it, fight the underbrush, all of that. I am into my 4th week, or I've just finished my 4th week of no radio. And I don't have live TV. I don't have cable TV, so I'm not able to watch any news on television. So my only source for fresh news is the radio, has been the radio. I don't tune into any websites, newspaper sites. I never have much. I've always just depended on National Public Radio. For 40 years I've listened to National Public Radio and have trusted them the most, by far. But I feel like an addict in a way. I was thinking about this just a bit ago. There are similarities to an addict, an addiction. There have been a few times in the last 4 weeks I thought, you know, especially when I'm working out here. The radio's right up there. I used to turn it on and it would keep me company. And how close I've come in the past 4 weeks, half a dozen times. I could turn on the radio. No, you don't need that. And the reason I've stopped listening to the radio is the emotional trauma, the turmoil from all of the bad things going on in the world, and I'm thinking especially, most number one, of Putin and his psychotic take on what he's doing to Ukraine. Why is he doing this? Perfectly good society and people of Ukraine, and he's going in and decimating their infrastructure and killing indiscriminately. Or maybe it is discriminately. He's choosing apartment buildings where totally innocent people that have nothing to do with fighting back. Well, they didn't start this, but they have certainly rallied to get this evil scourge defended against. But I don't know. And when they began talking about tactical nuclear weapons on the battlefield that Putin is threatening use of, that pretty much, it took a couple months of hearing that on and off, and that's one of the things that I just said. I don't need this drought in the Midwest, drought worldwide, air quality. You take any one of those factors, and okay, it's bad, but we can weather it. And when you get myriad bad circumstances, I had to stop. I've been living totally in the moment. I like it. Insley's after something again. She's been other side of the garage and down the hill 20 minutes ago. I went looking for her. She had walked off that direction between the house and the garage. Let's see where she went. Let's see where she is. I crested the hill and looked down. She was down the hill in the rain garden area, scrambling at the ground, scratching for gophers. So this addiction of mine, what is she doing? I'm saying no. I got 4 weeks under my belt. And like all addictions, one of the incentives not to break it is the amount of work you have done up until this point. You don't want to give that up and have to start all over again. So I'll be right back. Hey! What would this world be like if guess it's not so quiet today as I had described. What would this world be like if everybody turned off their digital devices, threw them away? If by one stroke all of the internet was turned off and we didn't have TV anymore, cable TV I'm talking about. What would this world be like if everybody had to turn it all off and live in the moment and talk to their neighbors, go out and walk without earbuds? Oh, they could wear earbuds, but they'd be silent. Keep out the noise of the barking dogs and the traffic. And the more I think about this, the more my imagination goes places that, wow, the differences that could be made. I'm trying to think if digital would cover everything that I'm wishing for, or I'll be right back. Well, that's something else I got to do now. I'm fallen so far behind on just about everything out here. The path that goes down here and goes through there, I used the hedge clipper on it. You can see an opening, a narrow hallway. I used the hedge clipper on it. It had really gotten narrow. So I clipped it open. I let everything fall, and I just left it there. It needs to be raked up. But do you think I can get around to it? With firewood being my absolute number one and about only priority, everything else is being left to rot. I'm being upstaged horribly. What time is it? 4:27. Sounds like a 1969 Corvette convertible, which one of my friend's high school buddies had. I hadn't seen him for, well, since school. I was walking down the street or whatever, downtown one day, and this car honked. I looked over, there's this black 1969 Corvette Stingray. 4-speed on the floor with a 427 engine. I mean, that was like the ultimate huge, big block. He pulled over. I got in. I didn't know it was him, and I didn't know he had that car. Oh my gosh. We went for a little ride. And he told me about that he had a problem with the transaxle in the back, and that consequently he wasn't able to really goose it the way it needed to be goosed for my liking. So let's all think about giving up our devices, digital or otherwise. Actually, this radio that I have out here is not digital, it's analog. So we can give up our analog and digital devices, our digital and analog lives. Surrender them to living in the here and now. Meet your neighbors. Give a lot of hugs. Just think what this world would be like in a year if we were able to give up all of the distractions that we love to be distracted by and lose sight of what's real. She's dismantling my wood pile in there. It's all going to come tumbling down on her. Well, thank you. I do need to get a bucket full for tonight. Oh, she's got a mouse. I'll be damned.